So Doris, we're going to do a par 4 with Mark, and it's just a series of 4 questions that you're going to answer, and people would love to hear your answers on some of these things. But before, anytime you play golf, we warm up. So for a little warm up, tell me a little bit of background on you.
Well, I didn't know anything about golf. Golf was a whole new sport to me. I played all other sports in school. I was a pretty good athlete most of my life. And then I had a long vacation when I would raise kids and whatnot. And so I thought maybe I could try this sport out.
Okay.
It's down the road. 35 years ago, it was very inexpensive.
Gotcha.
And, I walked, so it was something I wanted to try.
So Mother's Day is coming up.
Yeah, right.
So tell me about, like, how many children, grandchildren, what you have.
We have four children. They're all retired now, and my 3 girls are learning to play golf. And I have 10 grandchildren and 8 great-grandchildren.
Wow. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Well, they're a great bunch of kids.
Okay, so now we're going to tee off. So the first question is, who introduced you to golf?
Nobody.
Nobody did?
Not a soul. I think that's...
How did you get started?
Well, I borrowed some clubs. I didn't borrow them. Somebody I knew gave me a bunch of clubs, an old 4-wood, and a putter, and a few irons. And then I said, oh, just go out to the range, and I did. I didn't take any lessons. I just kept hitting balls until I thought I was brave enough to try 9 holes. And I went out with a friend who kind of guided me along because I didn't know my way around a golf course. And then I would go out afternoons and play when it was hot and nobody else was out there. I did that all summer long until I felt like I could probably join the ladies group.
Was that here at the lake?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I've never played anywhere but here.
Okay.
In a learning capacity anyway.
All right.
And I may have taken a clinic here or there along the way.
Right.
But I never
really took any lessons.
Never really took lessons.
Self-taught.
I just sort of tried to figure it out myself. I guess you could tell that by the way I play.
All right. So then, what do you find appealing about golf? Well, like, why do you like to play?
I like being outside. I like the beauty of it, and I like the friends I've made. The friendships, the social part of it too.
Okay.
That's right now. That's what I miss.
Okay. Oh, I understand. All right. So then the third question is, is there anything, event or shot, any special moment in your golf that stands out to you?
I had a couple of eagles that were kind of nice to have. It was a little early on in my career when I could hit a little bit farther ball, and that was kind of fun. But I think most fun I had was 2-3 years ago. I was playing with Chris Hookman on the 18th hole, and I had this purple golf ball, this awful golf ball. I couldn't see it, and I hit that ball. It went way over the water, rolled to the back of the green, down the hill and into the hole. And there was a whole bunch of people back there who were just waiting out for something. And it went in the hole.
That's great.
I hope Chris remembers it.
She'll remember it.
Yeah, because that was really kind of fun.
Okay, and then the last question is, if you could play with anyone, whether they're dead or alive, who would you play with and why?
Well, I'm in a comfort level right now. I prefer to play with the ladies in the 18-hole group that I've played with all these years. They're the ones I really like to play with.
The 18-hole ladies?
Yeah.
It's a special group.
That was the only group that was ever here when I first came. And I just stayed with them. And of course, all the faces have changed, but they're my favorite people.
Aw, that's great. Well, Doris, nice par. And thank you for playing.
Oh, thank you.
That was fun. Okay, so you haven't seen them yet, but this is the par 4 with Mark. That's what I call it.
Okay.
And how it works is I ask 4 questions, and you answer them, and people in the community get to learn about you, Ronnie Clark. So Before we tee off, it's always good to warm up a little bit. So what I'd like you to do is just tell a little background about you. Tell me a little background about you.
Okay. I grew up in a poor family in the far southwestern part of the state,
Okay.
Wise County, a coal mining country. And in any event, when I was a kid growing up, I never heard of golf. There was a country club there, a small 9-hole course called Lonesome Pine Country Club. And I think sometime in the past few years, even the golf state championship golf tournament's been held out there one year, I think.
Okay.
In any event, I didn't know anything about golf. I came from a family of several boys, and as I said, it's a poor family. My dad, I don't necessarily include this when we do this in the interview, as far as the point. My dad was killed when I was 16 months old. And so
Now it's running, so we're recording it, so it's fine.
okay. Anyway,
Yeah, we're just warming up. I haven't started the questions yet. This is a warm up that people will see.
okay.
Okay.
People will see this.
Yeah.
Okay. In any event, when I was a young kid, like, my family had no car or anything of that nature, and so everywhere that I went, I either walked or hitchhiked. You may be old enough to remember hitchhiking.
I do,
but
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people that will see this video probably don't know what hitchhiking is, or,
Yeah.
or understand what it's all about. But when I was growing up, I'm 80 years old now. I was born in 1940. So in the early 50s and so on, if you were going to go anywhere, unless you had a car, you either hitchhiked or walked.
Right.
And hitchhiking was something very common among people, and so I did a lot of hitchhiking in my life. But as I said, people younger than 50,
Right.
not even know what we're talking
That's
about.
right. That's right.
But anyway, that's when I was that age, in the early 50s, a number of the towns in Wise County had professional baseball teams,
Okay.
Class D,
Okay.
very lowest classification. And I guess somehow I had hung around. Norton had a team, and Big Stone Gap had a team.
Okay.
And they're about 15 miles apart,
Okay.
Norton and Big Stone Gap. And on one Sunday afternoon, Norton was going to be playing Big Stone Gap that afternoon in baseball. And a couple of my brothers and I decided we'd hitchhike down there and see the game. So I lived about 2.5-3 miles north of Norton.
Okay.
So I don't know whether we walked or hitchhiked to Norton. We probably hitchhiked to Norton. But in any event, a place located there near the end of the long main street of Norton was a place where people would hitchhike if they were going south.
Right.
And so on that particular day, me and my brothers, we were there hitchhiking, trying to get a ride to Big Stone Gap to see that baseball game. And this car pulls over, and they roll down the window. We opened the door and start to get in or whatever, and they said, "Where are you going?" We said, "Well, we're going down to Big Stone Gap." And the person said, "Well, we're not going that far. We're going down to the country club." I said, "We'll be glad to give you a ride that far if you want to do it." He said, "Okay." So we hopped in and got in the car. We get down to the entrance to the country club, where the road that passes by the country club, you turn in a road that takes maybe half or 3/4 of a mile to get up to where the pro shop is. And I'm learning this later, obviously. And so we thanked them, and so they said, I think they were talking way down there. As it turned out, this was a doctor and his wife. They were three avid golfers, I learned later on. And so when we got down there, we thanked them, and they went on up the road heading up to the golf course. And I don't know, it may have been more than a half an hour, maybe even less. But I think after half an hour or so, and we hadn't been able to get a ride because there wasn't that much traffic on that road. There's not that much traffic on that road today, even.
Right.
But there's certainly a lot less back then. And finally, one of us said, I don't remember which one it was, said, hey, because they had talked about on the way down to the golf course about caddying. I didn't know what they were talking about. And so one of us said, hey, we can't seem to be able to get a ride. Baseball game's time for it to start. We're gonna miss it if we don't get a ride. So let's go up there and see about caddy. so we walked up there, and that was the beginning of my association with golf.
All right, so that takes me to the first question.
Yeah.
How did you get introduced to golf? Is that
will be okay. We can that will serve as an answer to the first question. That's how I got introduced to golf, and I would go on to say that from that time on, like I said, I was 12 years old and had no way of making part-time jobs, extra money like a lot of kids have an opportunity to do today. And so I think if I remember correctly, the caddy fee at that time was $1 for 18 holes. And I think the person I ended up caddying for that afternoon, of course I didn't know how to carry the bag.
right? Right.
Anything about
You didn't know what you were doing.
Didn't know how I didn't had any idea what I was doing. And so I went on up there and I caddied that afternoon, and I decided, you know, I'd like to do this more because it's a chance to make some money.
Yeah.
And so that was the beginning of my association with golf. And I would say that over the next years that I was in school, right on through high school, the following summers and during the fall and spring on Saturday and Sundays, I caddied every day.
Oh, that's great.
And because I wanted to make that money.
Yeah.
And I would also add, Mark, that the relationships that I formed with some of the people I caddied for
Oh, yeah.
became almost like fathers to me.
Right. Oh, I feel that.
And they were the reason I went to college.
Those men that you caddied for and
Absolutely.
modeled for you.
Because most people going up in Southwest Virginia, I mean, if they finish high school, they go right into the mines or leave the area to go somewhere else and find a job. No,
Right.
that's true to some extent today, but it was much more true then.
Right.
And so I would have never even thought about going to college.
Right.
Except these two men particularly that the last several years they played together all the time, and every time I caddied, I doubled for them.
Right.
One of them was a dentist, and the other one owned a hardware and furniture store, and they always encouraging me to work hard in school, make good grades.
Oh, that's great. All right, so let's move. So what do you like about golf? What draws you to the game? What do you enjoy about golf?
Well, as the years were going on when I was caddying, occasionally, you know, we'd get out in front of our players on some holes where we could see where the ball went, rather than stay right with them on the tee with them all the time. And on some of those holes, occasionally we'd pull out one of the clubs who we were caddying for, and if we had a ball in our pocket, and hit a ball.
Oh, yeah.
Learn how to hit a ball, and so that got me interested in playing. And I really never played much golf until I was through college. I got a set of clubs about the time I finished high school.
Okay.
An old set that somehow I don't know how much I paid for, but they weren't much, and they were pretty beat up and so on. But I had a set of clubs from then and right on through college. And but I didn't play much in college. I didn't have time, plus I didn't have the money.
Right.
So my first 2 or 3 years at Fort Union, I didn't play any golf. Didn't have anything. There were several people down there who played on the faculty and staff. This was before Lake Monticello opened.
Mm-hmm.
And we played, those guys played at a course down on Route 6 going into Richmond. It was called Oak Hill, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Anyway, I went down there 2 or 3 or 4 times to play with those guys on occasion, and I was able to get more interest in it, and what that meant to interested people at Fort Union. I mean, at the academy that I wanted necessarily to play golf with, but as time passed, I gradually got to going over to Keswick.
Right.
And became a member over there at Keswick.
Okay.
And started to play with a bunch of guys that regulars, and we all played halfway decent. Some of them played better than I did. Most of them did, in fact. But anyway, we got to playing over there, and in the summer of '71, when the first 9 here opened, we moved out here. We moved our membership out here.
Okay.
Several of us did, and so it was something that I mean, I loved the course from the very beginning.
Right.
But
Right.
I will never forget this though. When we were playing that front 9, the first year before the back 9 opened the next year, when we played number 9, we looked over at 18, and it appeared to us it was just sloping all the way down.
Right.
There was no level flat area. So I was really surprised when the course hole was finally finished. I kept wondering, how in the world's the hole going to play? It comes round down to this lake, and it's just nothing but a slope all the way down. But I remember that.
Neat.
Got that opinion of it at that
That's
time.
cool. All right, so the third question is, describe or tell a story of your most exciting moment in golf. Do you have something that sticks out to you?
Well, yeah, I don't think there's any question. The most exciting moment for me was winning the Faulkner in 1973. As I've sort of talked about it in previous discussion we've had here, I was a better than average player, but I certainly was not a good player. I would say at the time, although I didn't have an official handicap at that time, I would say at best I was a 6 or 7 handicap when I won that Faulkner.
Okay.
So I just had 3 fantastic days of golf in which I shot far better than I was capable of playing. And needless to say, that was the happiest, most exciting time I've ever had in golf.
That's cool. Now, do you still have the trophy?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. That's one of my fondest possessions.
That's great.
I've got quite a few trophies that I've won in golf over the years. I don't remember right now. I remember the Faulkner. I remember almost a lot
Vividly.
a lot of things, a lot of the holes and so on. But over the years since then, I've won a number of club championships.
Right.
Both in stroke play and match play.
Right.
And I don't remember exactly what years they were.
Right.
But I actually was a better player in the years after the Faulkner, when I started playing on a more regular basis.
Right.
And while I never took any lessons, so to speak, I became a better ball striker.
Right.
At the time I won the Faulkner, I was certainly a much better than average putter.
Okay.
And I made a lot of putts.
That makes a big difference.
I made a lot of putts, and I wish I could still say the name in more recent years. But that was certainly the most exciting thing for me.
Oh, that's good. All right, so well, that's really good, and that's the reason I asked you to do this weekend, because this weekend should have been the Faulkner.
I was getting ready to say
And it started in 1973, and I've looked at your name on our plaque many times and knew that you had won it, and that's so cool that it's so neat that you can share your story.
Right.
So the last question, the fourth question is, if you could play with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Well, I would answer that in actually 2 parts.
Okay.
From a icon and hero type, it would be Tiger, Arnold Palmer, and Jack Nicklaus.
Okay.
Hey, Ken. And anyway, the other part, which if I was talking about just a last round that I could enjoy more than anything else,
Okay.
it would be Donnie Stribling,
Okay.
Booty Morris,
Okay.
and Booty's father, who's been dead now 12, 15 years or so. His name was Bo Morris. Because while I not only enjoyed playing golf with him, I enjoyed being with him.
Right.
And still, and as you know, Booty and what Booty's like.
Right.
He and Donnie together are hilarious. Playing golf with them together is just unreal. And Bo just added to it. back when he was playing. He and Bo and Booty just went back and forth each other all the time through the whole 18 holes, fussing at one another about this or that or whatever.
And it makes it fun.
Oh, absolutely!
It adds to the game.
I never played a round of golf with any of those guys that I didn't have a great time.
Oh, good. Well, Ronnie, thank you for doing this. This means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Glad to